everybody, TSK here, and you're watching a Yu-Gi-Oh! Original Legendary Collection box opening. That's right, the first box Legendary Collection. All three of the original Legendary God cards, Obelisk, Slifer, and Ra. Ra was my favorite. And it's got a original special edition game board. I remember I opened one of these before. And when I was saying with the story, I found three of them just recently. I was like, oh, I need to buy these because I can't believe they're actually doing that. So this is the board, and then this is just the cover, and this is the side they actually want you to try and play on. It's really ridiculous. Like I said, it's mainly aesthetics. The most famous monsters, one of each: Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician, and Red Eyes Black Dragon. So. And they're limited editions, the ultra rares with the, I think this is a gold print. So anyway, that's what this is. So the things I just mentioned were the guaranteed bits, the board, the 3 God cards, the originals. They aren't tournament legal, but they're the originals. And then what you don't know, the mystery here, is that they give you 6 packs, the original packs that had a lot of the original cards, all 6 of the packs that I mentioned before. So I'm going to go through these. Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon, Metal Raiders, Spell Ruler, Pharaoh's Servant, Dark Crisis, and Invasion of Chaos. Those are the 6 packs. They give you 1 of each. So you don't know what's in those packs. I believe there's 9 in each. 9 in each pack. So 54 total cards. So, I mean, that's pretty good. I bought one of these previously before. And there was only one at the time. And I was like, okay, I'm going to pick it up because I couldn't believe that they were actually selling the God cards. I saw it at Walmart. And it was in the package. Like, are they really in there? And they were. Basically, I'm going to start the opening. If I miss anything, I'm going to pick that up and explain what it is on the back end. I'm also going to do a kind of best cards, best grab bag cards, the cards that I got out of here. These are just so crisp. It's that new card smell. I remember that. Nostalgia is real. Yeah, so it's time. I hadn't seen that clip in a while, and I thought that he put down like something much stronger, like Dark Magician or some other card or some other really strong things. Like, no, it was that, and so I tried to include that in my own little rendition of that earlier. So that is there for those of you guys, I guess, that missed that. Oh, and then Pumpkin King of Ghosts. See, when I opened the last one, this one must be really common. When I opened the last one on my own off of YouTube, I got this one as well. He's a very, I can't remember. I'm sure he was in the cartoon because it's very familiar to me. I remember trading when I was in grade school with somebody for this card. Not this particular card, obviously, because I just opened it. And I have a copy, again, that I got from the other one. But I remember seeing the card. It was... it's 1,800 attack points, 2,000 defense points. But the thing I didn't like about it, again, is that you have to sacrifice for it. And it just makes it really difficult. Despair from the Dark. This was a... sorry if I missed that. This came in the Zombie Structure Pack. The card on that was Vampire Genesis, if I remember correctly, the main card, because on those structure packs they show you the big thing that they're advertising. Yeah, and there were 2 of these in that. I think this might be is this an ultra rare? I'm sorry, it's so difficult to tell. Fear from the Dark. So it looks exactly like the Despair from the Dark. It's it's the same type of thing. Fear and Despair. I guess Despair is worse. Now Football Art, I like that because it's got crazy defense. It's a fire. You probably can't. Yeah, you can see the defensive numbers. 2,100. It's very good. You don't have to sacrifice for it. See, again, that's key. Not having to sacrifice. So if you're in a bind, and someone's taking out your monster and you're worried, you have all monsters that to sacrifice for, you're going to be wide open for an attack. Whereas if you have a strong monster you put down, you don't have to worry about it. Sojin increased the attack and defense of all Beast Warrior and Warrior type monsters by 200. That's great to put in a theme deck. These field spell cards here, great to put in a theme deck. Themes obviously corresponding to whatever the attribute or the type. The attribute or the affinity of the monster, according to whatever it says, it'll give a boost. It's similar to like Pokemon, where you have teams that are really big into rain. So you have a rain team that gets all these advantages from it, or people that have a sandstorm team. So they're really, they need monsters that are good with sand. They can take advantage of that. So this is kind of like the similar concept. That is the official unboxing, unwrapping of the 6 packs, and then showing you guys again the guaranteed cards that you get with that particular bundle. I think I may actually do an Orichalcos box opening. If I see it again, I'll get it, and then we can do a box opening of that. So this is the VIC, or Very Important Card section of this unboxing video. I want you guys to have a chance to see which cards I thought were the best pulls from each pack that was included in the box. After looking at those, I'll briefly go over the merits of the 6 guaranteed cards as well. Hopefully, as we go through this, you guys will have more things to consider when looking for cards and developing strategies for your own decks. Let's start with the Metal Raiders pack. The general pull from this pack wasn't great, although I did find a Castle of Dark Illusions, which was the obvious standout. The castle is great for any zombie-themed deck, and I just so happen to have 2. The card is 4 stars, which means you don't need to sack anything to summon it, and with 1,930 defense points, it's likely to stick around after giving your opponent a nasty surprise if he attacks it while set. Upon flipping this card, it boosts the attack and defense of your zombies by 200, and does this up to 4 more times during each of your next standby phases for as long as this card is on the field. Overall, a great find. The Spell Ruler pack had some interesting elements, but I thought the most interesting one was the Hamburger Recipe and Hungry Burger combination, as I mentioned in the official unboxing. I was surprised that the Ritual Monster and its associated Ritual Summon card were both included in the pack. Hungry Burger itself isn't too strong at 2,000 attack points, but being able to summon it by sacking from your hand as opposed to having to use a field monster could definitely work in your favor if things get real. Nothing really popped out at me in the Legend of Blue Eyes pack that I opened, although the Giant Soldier of Stone was notable for its defense. 2,000 defense on a monster that doesn't need a sack is quite good, on par if not exceeding the utility of the Mystical Elf, which also has 2,000 defense but only 800 attack, whereas the Giant Soldier has 1,300. The Pharaoh's Servant pack had some decent pulls, 2 of which were Harpy's Brother and 7 completed. I chose Harpy's Brother as a standout VIC because of its 1,800 attack strength and the fact that no sack is required. 7 completed is mentioned because it boosts the attack or defense of a machine-type monster by 700. This is by far one of the strongest equipped cards that I currently own, and will be quite helpful in whichever of my machine decks I decide to place it in. I also found 2 notable cards in the Dark Crisis pack. The first is Battle Footballer, which, going along with the unofficial VI theme in this segment, has a very high defense without requiring a sack. 2,100 is the largest defensive value of any 4-star or below monster that I even pulled from the box. The second standout was unique in its special ability. On top of being able to make your opponent pay with a respectable 1,700 attack stat, if you use Zolga as a sacrifice to summon another monster, you receive 2,000 life points. There are so many potential strategies to be had with this particular card, and its utility is very real. The final pack had 2 standouts, the first being Amphibious Bugroth MK3, and the second being Jalago. Bugroth is worth mentioning because although its attack and defense aren't overwhelming by any stretch of the imagination, when the field spell Umi is activated, it can attack your opponent's life points directly, which is huge. Bugroth is an excellent option for nearly any Aqua-themed deck. Jalago, the second notable mention, also has the ability to use a direct attack if all of the opponent's cards in the field are face-up monsters with 1,600 or more attack. So that about sums up the VIC pack pull segment, but it just wouldn't be right to conclude without giving a brief overview of the box's guaranteed cards. Starting off with Joey's Red Eyes Black Dragon. Realistically speaking, it's the weakest of the guaranteed cards, but maintains star appeal for its aesthetics and the connection that it has to the Red Eyes Metal Dragon and Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon variants. Dark Magician has immense popularity as Yugi's go-to monster, and has connections with Dark Magician Girl as well as the Dark Magician Knight. Blue Eyes White Dragon is the strongest in the mini trio at 3,000 attack points. Kaiba's Dragon is perhaps most well known for being able to fuse with 2 other Blue Eyes White Dragons via polymerization to form Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which is one of the strongest monsters in the game at 4,500 attack points. Now comes the fun part, the Egyptian God cards, which are the main reason for why most people will buy the box in the first place.
Obelisk the Tormentor.
Obelisk is the weakest of the God cards, but is still very formidable with an even 4K across the board in attack and defense. In the anime, Obelisk's special ability allowed it to destroy all opposing monsters, as well as taking 4,000 of your opponent's life points for the price of 2 monsters on your side of the field. The effect was modified for competitive play by removing the 4,000 life point hit. Honestly though, removing that 4K essentially neutered Obelisk, because unless Obelisk was special summoned, you wouldn't likely have a need to waste monsters on your side of the field to take out monsters on the opponent's side. This is because if your opponent's already let you gather 3 monsters to sack for Obelisk, it's also not very likely that he would be able to normal or even special summon anything strong enough to beat Obelisk one-on-one.
Slifer the Sky Dragon.
Slifer is one of those, oh my goodness I'm screwed cards. You don't want to be on the opposite side of this thing, especially if the controller of this card has ways to increase the number of cards in his hand or is conservative with card placement. That's because Slifer's attack and defense is based on how many cards you have in your hand. His stats go up by 1,000 for each card. On top of a virtually endless attack and defense point potential, Slifer also retains its full anime ability unlike Obelisk. When an opponent summons a monster face-up in attack mode, Slifer's second mouth activates and the monster's attack and defense is lowered by 2,000. If the monster's attack hits 0, it is automatically destroyed. Slifer is truly ridiculous.
The Winged Dragon of Ra.
Ra. My personal favorite and arguably the strongest of the 3. As with Obelisk, Ra's anime abilities were nerfed when porting him to real-world competitive play. In a real-world duel, Ra cannot be special summoned, which inhibits one of its anime abilities, the point-to-point transfer. In the anime, Ra's attack and defense points were the sum of those monsters that were sacked to summon it. In a real-world duel, Ra's attack and defense points are however many of your life points you give up to strengthen him. You must retain at least 100 life points, whereas in the anime you could bring your points down to 1. Ra is also able to use Phoenix mode in real-world duels, which means that you can sacrifice 1,000 life points to obliterate any opposing monster you choose. I really enjoyed sharing my unboxing experience with you guys. As I mentioned earlier, I may do some other unboxings with the other collections like Joey's World and the Orichalcos series. Stay tuned for more content. I've got a lot of fun things in the works. See you later, and remember to always believe in the heart of the cards.